We've arrived at week 10, so we're two-thirds of the way through the semester at the end of this week. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Halloween, that you dressed up, maybe you went to a party, or you just enjoyed the little kids and gave out some candy. All right, so week 10, we move on to the fourth section of the course. We've had three sections up to this point. The first section was radical egotism. This is the idea that the only thing that matters is your goals, your desires, your dreams. Then we moved on to this idea of self-interest to morality. So a moral system or perspective that begins in self-interest but moves beyond it. And this is Pascal. And essentially says, well, why should you be moral and concomitantly religious? Because it's in your self-interest. The rational person realizes that being religious and being moral is a good thing in terms of what benefits them the most, at least potentially benefits them the most. And then we moved on to the third section, which we just concluded, which is moral theories. And these are theories, systems, that try to figure out what is right and what is wrong systematically. So they'll take an issue, a problem, and they'll apply certain principles to it, and they'll say, this is what you should do. And so this system is neither fundamentally self-interested nor unself-interested. But what it's going to do is say, here's the right thing to do, and you should do it regardless of whether it is in your self-interest or not. Sometimes it may be, sometimes it may not be. Utilitarianism was one of those theories, and utilitarianism says, make the world a happier place. And that means you've got to consider everyone affected by your action, and that includes you. And it could be the case that you are personally made happier, but what you have to do, what your duty is to do, is to produce the most total amount of happiness. That could mean you are made happier, but it also could mean that you have to sacrifice some of your personal happiness. Kant, he is fundamentally a guy about reason. He is a deontological thinker, which means that duty is primary, that there are certain things that are right no matter what, regardless of consequences, regardless of how it affects yourself or others, and there are things that are wrong, no matter what. Final stop, regardless of whether it is good for you or not. And Kant bases this on reason, and the two principles of the categorical imperative. One is the principle of universality, which means essentially look at what you're doing, your justification, and universalize it. Ask if it will remain consistent, if everyone followed your logic. The other principle is to treat other rational beings with respect. If a being is rational, that being deserves respect. And then finally we finished off last week with natural law. And essentially natural law says, if you look at nature, everything within nature has a purpose. Everything within nature has a point. Everything within nature has a goal. It's designed that way. It's created that way. And when you look at human life, natural law theorists generally ascribe four goals. One is this idea of preserving life. So you're meant to take actions that preserve life and avoid actions that would destroy life. Not only for yourself, but others. In the discussion both, you guys mentioned things like, don't drink, don't become an alcoholic, don't become a drug addict, exercise, eat right, get proper sleep, etc. A second principle of natural law is that we're meant to procreate. And what that means is that we're meant to further the human race. And this doesn't mean just go out and have as many babies as possible, go out and be a Duggar or something like that. What it means is that when you engage in sexual activity, you've got to be open to the possibility of procreation, and that's really the purpose of sexual activity. And that part of procreation, one of the duties, is to not simply generate kids, but to also be able to raise them, to care for them, to instruct them, to educate them, to help them develop. The third principle of natural law, in terms of human life, what are humans designed to do? What are they meant to do? Well, the third thing we're designed and meant to do is to be social. And we're meant to develop relationships with others. We're meant to form bonds with others. We're not meant to be this kind of purely individual, isolated creature. We are meant to be in communities with others. And that would mean doing things that help foster relationships and help develop communities. Such as being honest, being trustworthy, being loyal, being friendly, being courteous. If any of you are Boy Scouts, you recognize that's part of the Scout law. And we're meant to do things that would undermine relationships, that would destroy relationships. Gossip, use other people, treat other people like dirt, those kind of things. View some people as worthless based on who they are in society. Finally, the fourth principle is that you seek knowledge. That human beings naturally desire to know, and they desire to know the truth. And so we're meant to understand ourselves, we're meant to understand others. Certainly one of the principal consequences of this principle could be that you have an education system, and that you allow everyone to participate in that education system. And communities that would not would be bad. But even in terms of yourself, you're meant to look back at yourself. You're meant to think about, okay, who am I? What am I doing? Do I reflect properly? Do I understand why I do what I do? Do I understand whether I'm becoming better, whether I'm becoming more peaceful, more fulfilled, more satisfied, those kind of things. So understanding yourself is also corresponds to this principle of knowledge. And now, so we've looked at these moral theories, we've looked at self-interest, morality, we've looked at radical egotism. We now come to the fourth section of the course, and this is complete altruism. So complete altruism is the opposite of radical egotism. In radical egotism, it is all about you, all about yourself. You're the only person that really matters. You might do good things for others, but it's always because you see some benefit to yourself. With complete altruism, your fundamental purpose is others, is to do for others, to serve others, is to donate your time and energy and self for the betterment of other people. That is your goal as a complete altruist. You literally give yourself up for others. You literally kind of sacrifice your own life, maybe not physically, but in terms of your desires and your goals and your dreams, so that you can fulfill others. Think about maybe a parent who sacrifices all his or her dreams so that their kid can accomplish their dreams. Think about Mother Teresa or something like that, someone who dedicates their lives to others. And at first glance, complete altruism seems good. It seems like something that we should do. It seems like maybe something that not many of us do, but that's because we're sinners. It's because we're more, in a moral sense, we fall short. Whereas the complete altruist would be the saint, would be the truly good person. But we're going to question that a little bit, and we're going to ask about that. Is giving yourself to others completely and utterly the right thing to do? And we're going to watch an interesting video, which is just basically the Giving Tree narrated on video. It's a children's book by Shel Silverstein, and it's really something that maybe many of you have read, but it's fascinating. It's fascinating because essentially this tree gives and gives and gives. And many people intuitively think, well, the tree represents a good person. And again, the tree and the boy, they're representations of different kinds of people. But we're going to ask, is that true? Is the tree good? Should the tree have given as much as she did? Should the tree have given as much as she did to this particular boy? Did the tree fail in its responsibility? Did it fail to help the boy develop into a better person? So these are all questions that I want you to think about as you watch the video. The second case study or kind of piece of writing that we're going to use to reflect on this theme of complete altruism is the Jesus and the expensive oil story. So what this woman does in the story, essentially what this woman does is that she anoints Jesus. She washes his feet with this very, very expensive oil that would cost about a half a year or a year's salary. And the disciples get all upset. They say, how could you do that? You could have given that money to the poor. It would have been better. And so what I want you to ask yourself is about Jesus' response. Does he think that you should completely kind of always just give to others or give to the needy, give to the less fortunate as much as you possibly can? And I'll be interested to hear your responses to that question. So this week, again, is about complete altruism. The usual kind of instructions have been emailed to you. They're also posted on And You Learn. Just to kind of reiterate, those instructions, you have a quiz. So that is due by Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. The next week, so week 11, we're actually going to be watching a movie, and I've posted the trailers to those movies online, and you are going to vote for which one you think is the top choice, what is your second choice, what is your third choice, and then whatever movie gets the most point at the end is the movie that we'll watch as a class. So it's another thing that you have to do this week, in addition to your usual postings to the discussion boards. As always, there is the Sunday night phone call. If you didn't get it this week or didn't get on, certainly you can get on it next week, and definitely use that because that can be helpful to you. All right, have a great day.